match is going to be Eamonn versus Clement. You talked about them a bit coming in to today's games, how they're sat very, very close on the leaderboard. But now talk to me about them individually and some about their playstyles.
They do indeed, and I would say there's also not a big difference in that term, because both are no-move favorites, I would say. No-move NPC is more the game modes they prefer rather than moving. Both Eamonn and Clement. So, same stats, same points, same playstyle.
Yep, very similar. On the leaderboard, Eamonn sat a couple points behind, make it 4. Would really want to get further up because he, of course, is playing for that Apex spot. And it's a close race. It's a tricky one at that as well. Clement also, of course, wanting to make his way to the EMEA regionals. Want to lock down that spot. And of course, I mean, for Clement, knowing that the grand finals, or the world championship, I should say, is going to be played in Denmark, would really want to qualify to be able to represent this country as we get into round number 1. Instantly, Eamonn is in Kenya.
Definitely. And I also noticed Clement is on 50 points now, so I would assume he won a game.
Wait, so Clement, what happened to last time we saw him play? He had like this insanely gold frame, like bed frame. Now, not so much. He downgraded from the presidential suite.
I feel like it looks different every single week where Clement is, so might switch up his setup a lot, or I mean, maybe playing on a laptop and has a cam that's portable.
The digital nomad lifestyle of going to new places every week for GeoGuessr tournaments. We'll see if that's going to be the case for Clement or not, as Eamonn able to hit home for here game number 1. Round number 1. Not too much damage to write home about, but nonetheless, a lead.
Indeed. And up next, very weird looking coverage. I mean, it looks like Nigeria, and I've talked about Nigeria earlier, how you can find the state pretty quick on signs. Very common to be written here and there. We have a Joss Hauer from Eamonn scanning around there. I don't know exactly what he's looking for, whether he's looking for a suburb name or a lineup.
What did he see?
This looks like a main road. I am not sure if it was vibes. I mean, he could have also maybe used the coverage type and the mountains down there.
A lot of info on this
one.
Now
he has very good information and a very good camera quality as well to read them, but so does Clement. Saint Vom. Yep. Is that a place name? I'm not sure if that might be...
Ooh, Clement is all the way towards the east here, but nope, now zooming out of it again. Jamenta is where he's, at least for now, opted to commit. He's going to stay there as well. Further towards the east, it was over towards Eamonn. So pretty big damage coming through, considering that it's round 2. Almost 2,000 at that.
Definitely for Nigeria standards, and especially on that camera quality, Gen 4, you know most of that is in the east. There wasn't really a big region, but for that they really were spread across max east and west what was possible with that type of coverage. So yeah, good on Eamonn for picking up the right city there. But we are still very early in the game. Moving around on a mountainous road, the road lines do look French to me, with how tight the gaps are in between the lines. That is a very French thing. I think you also have it in Denmark. You can see it in Denmark as well, where you have those tight gaps in between the lines. But of course, with mountains like these, you wish you had them in Denmark, wouldn't you?
I do. As someone who likes to go skiing, I do feel like I was born in the wrong country. Yeah. At least in those regards. Many other regards, I'm very happy to be Danish. But when it comes to that, not so much. Clement, though, opting to go down in the islands. He's all the way... We'll see who's going to get it. And it is going to be him. Wow.
Very good commit striking back. Eamonn's still in a slight lead, but that was important for Clement to get those health points down from Eamonn. Gets himself into the game. And now we are in Argentina. Not the easiest country, especially also on moving. I feel like if you don't have a mile marker with the road number given, it can be quite tricky because you don't often get big city names given anywhere nearby if you are in a rural town like this. So I think the approach really is to move out as fast as you can to get on a main road.
Is there anything in the foliage that can help you when the lack of city signage cannot? Or is this a very generic Argentinian nature and surrounding?
Very rarely, you can use the foliage, but usually you use more mountains in Argentina. If you have mountains, you're on the west. If you don't have them, you're on the eastern side. But then it's still a long stretch. Definitely and as we can see them going all the way north and south there on the eastern side, that will allow you to deal 2.4k damage.
Yep, another big chunk taken by Clement as he sits down at under 1800 health. Now Eamonn playing with the advantage here, but of course we know advantage ain't really anything until you get the opponent down to 0.
Interesting round. We are Turkey.
Yeah. Same car again that we had in the other southeast round.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty spread in a big circle around the country.
Okay.
As a rule of thumb, you don't really see it that much in the northwest unless you're on the European side. But I think we are north of Adana here, because north of Adana has those eucalyptus trees combined with the sunflowers, and a flat roof, and this car. I think that's, yeah, it's saying Tarsus. That's west of Adana actually.
Did Clement go past that sign? Or did he go the completely other way? I'm not sure. But he found the city as well.
Tarsus, yes.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big city. If you get that vibe, you can definitely use that. Eamonn, however, is still looking at the location rather than scanning for that. And now he will see it being in Tarsus, and he will realize, okay, that was actually information I could have used on that sign. But still a very good region guess, nonetheless.
I was going to say, when you're, within 100 kilometers in a situation like this, you can't really be too mad about it, especially when you have a considerable lead and when we're early enough in the game issues. Now, round 6 is upon us. 3.5 times the multipliers are here. And, well, Clement is already going down the street, but Eamonn yet to move. There you go.
Yes, I think both players will probably know that this is East Java. Given that, okay, it's also saying Java Timur on that truck. But we had asymmetrical poles and tile roofs. Yeah. Both those clues combined will put you in East Java, unless you are on Banten. I
was gonna say they're both out on Madura. Seems like Clement first to log in, but now you have Eamonn in the exact same city. Yep. Well, a teeny tiny town off to the north is what separates the two, and with that, 24 damage comes through. But nice commitment to one of the small islands here.
Yep. As we go on to another Australia, we have seen it a couple times today. And again, not the easiest location, because I could see a southern Queensland here. But I could also see this being inland New South Wales. We have a license plate. Did it have a red tint on it?
Very quick send from Clement here. Barely even zooming in at all. As now Eamonn joining him. He's way further towards the north. With 4 times multiplier, this could be big, depending on who's going to be close. It's going to be Clement. What a plonk. Even he is surprised. Wow, that's going to be game. Wow. He barely even zoomed in. Look at him. He's shaking his head. I think he's as surprised as we were.
Yeah, I mean, he just plunked it down immediately. Getting this close with a vibe guess is very impressive.
He wanted to put pressure on. Like, he didn't want to give Eamonn time to figure things out, but in doing so, he pretty much put the marker on the point. What an incredible guess.
Yeah, I don't think he would have gotten any closer, even if he would have moved around, because it didn't look like we would have any information nearby.
I like chat's way of following the tracking Clement here. Is he getting closer to getting his golden bed frame back? Well, he might be. There might be more golden bed frames in the future for Clement if he can make guesses like that on the go.
So we move on to the no-move game. I do agree with the Thailand plonks. However, a region guess here is quite difficult. I would just send... I would click on the... Okay, I was about to say I would click on the label, but Clement is just better. He knows it's southwest of the label.
Just north of Bangkok. That's where Clement commits. And, well, he's gonna get rewarded for doing so. And we were talking about it previously. I mean, how quickly momentum can swing around. Eamonn sat with a not big, but pretty solid lead. And now, just one round in to no move. He's 1,000 points behind. Very similar to what we saw in the previous game.
Yes, and we are back in Australia. And after that first Australia round where Clement really had that great guess down, will he continue? Because again, we have a split up between South Australia and Queensland, I think? Yeah, you can see it barely. Eamonn is in Queensland, Clement is in South Australia. Neighboring states, however, still a long distance.
Luckily, the multipliers aren't that high yet, because we could have game over in this very round, depending on how much further they want to separate. Clement is continuously moving further down towards the south, further down towards Adelaide. Of course, still quite a distance from there, as the round does come to a 0, and it's going to be Clement closer to the target once more. 500 kilometers separating the two, sending Eamonn down to under 3,000 health.
Yeah, that's 2,000 damage already. This looks quite interesting. We should be in the US, given the 20.
Oh, Clement is in Australia.
Oh wait, what am I saying? Yeah, I just looked at the 20 and I was like, okay, 20 miles. Yep, that's US, and I didn't even look around.
I blindly believe everything you say. So when you say US and they go Australia, I'm like, oh no, what are the players doing? Little did I know, they were bamboozling Gelotris, not the other way around.
Are not driving on the left in the US. Gelotris, lock in.
Wake up, Gelotris. It's time for games, my man. You can't have me scared like that.
I was looking at the speed sign and I was like, 20? Yep, that doesn't exist in Canada. It is US.
There we go.
But yeah, especially with all the palm trees along there, the architecture, the left drive. It is a crystal clear Australia. However, where we are, I don't know. The lineup looks very well on Eamonn's side. However, it was McKay, I think.
They were both so committed to the cities that they had found respectively that neither of them looked right in between them. So that's where the location is going to be. We bamboozled everyone. It was just to check you, chat. We were seeing if you were locked in, and no one corrected us, so clearly you weren't. You were just like me, blindly believing that this was a US round, but wasn't. Haha, we got you on that one. And now, let's get into round number 4.
Indeed, and we are in India. Is there anything we can really use here, though? I don't see any state-specific poll. I do think, however, that we are maybe further south, or at least central or south in the country.
So just to make sure this is not in the US.
This should not be in the US.
Is that going to be your thing from now on?
I think I've looked enough at this round.
You just create a lifelong meme? Oh no. Gelotris, you don't know what you did. This is now going to be your thing. Is this the US, Gelotris? Are you sure?
You should have asked 1 second into the round. Maybe I would have considered saying something weird, but nope. This should be India.
Let's see.
I'm very certain.
Way further.
Odisha.
Yeah. All the way up there towards the northeast, but good for Eamonn that he was closer to the target, able to, well, if not fully even things out, then at least get closer to the scoreline of Clement, taking away that flawless as we get into round number 5.
We do, and my first wipe is USA.
Well, there you go. Good on you. Seems like Clement agrees. Oh, wait, now it can't be US if you say it is, right? Wait, what?
Not change my mind. I will not change to Australia.
Is it Australia?
I will stay in the US.
Okay, fair enough. New Mexico.
Pretty interesting mountain there. It looks very spiky and recognizable. But, of course, in the US you have a lot of mountains.
Eamonn instantly zoomed down towards New Mexico. He's looking at Kent. I mean, he's been very specific in his search here. Looking at these roads.
Definitely with how the road is built, you would assume it's an interstate. So scanning along the interstates do make sense to me. And Eamonn decided to pick the 10, and I think Clement is also on Interstate 10.
Yeah. Nearby one another.
You
can
was
see.
hovering that.
I think he was literally in the city.
Yeah.
Like, Eamonn was within a couple, I mean, maybe 50 kilometers of the pin there.
Yep.
Unfortunate. You can see it in his face there, second-guessing himself, going off of it, playing from behind as well, not only in this particular game, but also being down 1-0, would have really wanted to maximize on that.
Yep, that was really the opportunity for Eamonn to actually win that game. Because if he would have 5k, even just being a couple kilometers off on the right road there, or on the right span of the road, could have decided the game. Now we have a far east and far west spread in Bangladesh.
Ooh, Eamonn, hands to the face. Is it gonna be enough? No, he stays alive. Breathe, Eamonn, breathe, my man. It ain't over yet. But the pressure is getting to him now. I feel like very, very high heart rate. You'd have to imagine as we get ourselves into round number 7.
Yes, and we are in Nigeria. Not the first Nigeria round ahead. Eamonn was way closer on the first Nigeria round.
Distance in between them again. I mean, they literally can be 10 kilometers apart, and that's going to be game with 4 times multipliers now. Eamonn is so low at health. Not the US.
Do agree, it looks sudden. It's not the US. I do like their guesses. However, I cannot tell you who's gonna be on the right side, because I could see it being on both.
Well, if Eamonn is wrong here, he better be less than 5 meters off, or it could be game. Let's see how it's gonna be. Clement is down towards the shore. A little bit of micro adjustment there, as he is gonna be further off, and I think it's gonna be enough. Indeed, it will be. Eamonn too low at health to be able to claw back, and that one is Clement out victorious 2-0 once again.
Yep. There was some room for Eamonn to turn it around.
Yes.
Especially on the US, on this round as well.